Hi everyone, this is Kieran from MSK Physio. Today's exercise is about learning how to rotate your head on your neck. While there's some other exercises we have for that as well, this one's specific to some of our suboccipital muscles, specifically kind of our obliquus capitis ones. If you have difficulty with looking right or left, particularly if you're trying to kind of look up a little bit, up and over your shoulder, then this will be a really useful exercise for you. So with rotation of our head on our neck, we're considering, well, not just specifically, but kind of, C1 to C3. So mainly it's going to be that C1 to C2 where we get most of our rotation ability from. That's so if I had like a stationary neck, so my neck is still. So for example here, this isn't purely what we're talking about, but if I was just here and I'm rotating just my head without doing the extra bit of going all the way around, so about 50% this way, 50% that way, that's very much contributed from just the top part of our spine. It's an area for a lot of people that can be related to things like dizziness or headaches, particularly headaches that are sort of up in this area. And if you feel like you've just got restrictions in this rotation, then this will be a really useful exercise for you. There's some tests we can do to check the rotation as well. And if you're not sure, then it's the difference of having the range and being able to use the range, especially with endurance or for as long as you'd like to use the range, versus not having the range and having a mobility issue. If you have a mobility issue there, with the right sort of awareness, you can increase that yourself, but I would suggest instead find a local therapist that, physio or maybe a chiro or an osteo, someone that has specific skill sets in getting movement back in these joints. And then once you have the range, then you can sort of train it and strengthen it up. That being said, this exercise in a way can kind of do that, but again, I would probably go see a local professional just to get that range back first. So what that range would look like is if I was, let's see, if I'm facing you guys this way and I put my chin on my chest, and if I look right and left and keep my chin on my chest, that's kind of gonna preference that upper cervical. And so if you notice that you can turn, pretty reasonably about that way to the right, and then you go left and you're like, oh, it's blocked, I can't go any further, then you got maybe a mobility issue, but maybe not. It just depends on the position you're in. But if you do have that mobility issue, then I would go check in with your therapist. And I'm being repetitive about it, but it's because these joint movements are very subtle, and getting it yourself can be a bit challenging. So onto the exercise. Because I don't want to move the neck so much, I just want to move the head on the neck, I'm not going to be doing max rotation. And so what I need to look for are things that I can look at in my environment, because my eyes are intricately related with these muscles. They've got a bit of a reflex loop between them. So I'm going to be in this position to start, just pushing my elbows down into the ground for a bit of an anchor. I'm going to lift my head off, and what I'm doing is I'm looking between my thumbs. Now you could just look at your thumbs or however your fingers are crossed over, but just choose something in front of you and look at that. And then I'm going to start rotating. And I'm going to go to about my elbow crease. The trick though is I'm not moving my spine, right? I'm not coming up like this. I'm just going elbow crease to elbow crease. All right? So that's the rotation aspect. But if we want to really get into the end range, you're going to go elbow crease and then try to look just over your shoulder. So down, just over the shoulder, and back down again. I'm not going for past my shoulder. I'm not trying to look at the ground over there. I'm just trying to look at my shoulder, trying to lock eyes over here. Looking the other way. And for that direction, for me, it's a little bit trickier. So I go that way, just to the shoulder, this one, and it's a bit harder for me to get that last little bit of range without having my neck kick in. What I really want to do is try and do this to get my eyes over there. So looking at my elbow crease, I'm going to make myself a little bit taller and then go in. Okay. So if you find that this exercise is fatiguing for you up in this area here, then you know you're kind of getting into the right areas. If you get fatigued lower down in the neck, it's not to say you're doing it wrong, it just might mean that those muscles are the ones which you need to work on endurance for. And that's totally fine. Maybe you need to work on neck extension, which we've got some other videos for, and build up their endurance to be able to support and give you a neck which enables you to turn your head reliably on your neck. Really good exercise though for just getting some of that mobility back. And if you feel like that some of those end ranges are even further, even harder to get, then I'd be checking out some of our other rotation videos for like splenius capitis. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.